So, you have a product marketing team. You probably think their job is to write messaging and launch products, right? Well, what if I told you you're likely using them wrong? Today, we're going to reframe product marketing, not as some execution engine, but as maybe the most powerful diagnostic tool your entire organization has. Let's dive in. Let's just start right here with the single most important idea for today. Product marketing doesn't fix your problems. Its real job is to act like an MRI for your strategy. It shows you with incredible precision where all the hairline fractures are. This really flips the script on how most companies see the role. And here's where the conflict starts. Most organizations, if they're being honest, don't really want a diagnosis. When a symptom shows up, confusing feedback from the market, maybe low adoption, they just want it to go away. They want a painkiller, not the diagnostic test. And that's exactly why this function is so often misunderstood. So this leads to a bit of a paradox, doesn't it? Why is a function that's supposed to reveal the truth so often asked to hide it? It's because we're all focused on the wrong thing. Think about it. You know that feeling when something just isn't landing in the market. Sales calls feel a little awkward, customers don't quite get it. What's the first, almost reflexive thing that happens inside the company? The instinct is always, we need to change the words. Okay, picture an iceberg. The language, the words on your website, your pitch deck, that's the little tip you can see above the water. It's visible, it's cheap to change, it's super malleable. I mean, you can rewrite a headline in 5 minutes, right? But the strategic decisions that language is built on, well, that's the massive invisible structure underneath. It's expensive, and it represents committed resources, real alignment. And this points to a fundamental law of organizational physics. Pressure always flows to the cheapest point. It is so much easier and, frankly, politically safer to argue about ad copy than it is to reevaluate a huge decision about your target market. So all that pressure to fix the problem just gets funneled right onto the language, and by extension, right onto product marketing. So the most important thing to get is this. That constant churn in messaging, that's not the problem itself. It's a symptom. It's a bright, flashing signal of something much, much deeper going on. Let's just give this a name. We'll call it language instability. This is that endless cycle of rewriting, repositioning, tweaking. And it is so critical to understand this is almost never a failure of writing. It is a clear, unambiguous signal of unresolved strategic conflict happening way further upstream. The logic here is actually incredibly simple and powerful. When an organization has a stable, deeply held truth, when it is genuinely, truly committed to who it serves and the problem it solves, the language just naturally becomes stable. It settles down because it's anchored to something real. And of course, the flip side is just as true. When that language is constantly drifting, it's because it has no anchor. It reveals this deep strategic discomfort. It means someone, somewhere high up, is just not fully bought into the choices that were made. And that uncertainty comes out as a constant request to, you guessed it, try some new messaging. So if this language instability is the symptom, how do you spot it? This is where product marketing's unique position in the company really comes into play. They are perfectly placed to find this signal in all the noise. But why there? Well, because product marketing is the translation layer. They sit right between the internal strategy and the external story. They are the first people who have to try and build something coherent on top of the company's strategic foundation. And if that foundation has cracks, trust me, they are the very first ones to feel it wobble. So the next time your team is just stuck in a loop, endlessly wordsmithing a value prop, I want you to understand. The fight is not about the words. The churn is a symptom of a deeper hesitation. The organization is just not willing to fully commit to a strategic choice. And it's basically asking product marketing to find some magic words that can paper over that indecision. It doesn't work. Okay. So this brings us to a really crucial way of thinking about how product marketing operates. It can really function in one of two modes inside a company. It's either diagnostic or it's defensive. Let's break this down. On one hand, you have a defensive product marketing function. Its action is to smooth over the language. It wants to reduce tension. It makes leadership feel like progress is happening. It looks really helpful, right? But the outcome is that it just hides the real problem. Now, on the other hand, you have a diagnostic function. It does the opposite. It actively surfaces inconsistency. It forces the uncomfortable conversations. And to the rest of the org, this can feel slow, sometimes even obstructive. But the outcome is vital. It protects the entire system from building on a shaky foundation.
And this right here is the true value of a healthy product marketing function. Its biggest contribution isn't launching the next feature. It's revealing the big foundational questions that the organization hasn't been willing to answer yet. All right, so now let's make this really practical. Let's turn this lens back on your own organization. How can you tell which mode your team is operating in? How do you read these signals? I want you to ask yourself this one simple but really powerful question. Is your product marketing function being used as a shield to protect leadership from uncomfortable truths? Or is it being used as a mirror to reflect the reality of your strategic coherence, or lack thereof, right back at you? Here are the clear signs you're using it defensively. First, team tension is pretty low. Meetings are pleasant. Why? Because the difficult conversations are being avoided. The focus is all on executing the next thing, not questioning the strategy behind it. And because of that, leaders feel like progress is being made, even as the same core business problems just keep popping up, quarter after quarter. Now contrast that with the signs of a diagnostic function. It actively surfaces all the little inconsistencies. It forces conversations people would really rather not have. Progress might even feel slower because the focus isn't just on shipping, it's on shipping the right thing. The whole system is being protected from itself. So why do so many companies prefer that defensive mode? Look, it's not because the product marketing signal is unclear. They ignore it because acting on that signal is expensive. Listening might mean admitting that the last 6 months of product development were aimed at the wrong market. It means reopening decisions that leaders really want to be done. It's just easier to keep the progress narrative going. I want to leave you with this one last thought because it should reframe your expectations entirely. When product marketing is truly working at a strategic level, the feeling isn't one of frantic productivity. It's not a flurry of activity. The feeling is one of deep, resonant clarity that starts to spread through the whole company. Okay, so we've diagnosed the system, but what's the cure? In our next explainer, we're going to explore what great product marketing actually looks, sounds, and feels like once that strategic foundation is finally stable. I'll see you then.